It is! It is! Whoa! Undertaker! It's the Undertaker! And he is back!
Israel Adesanya is the coolest champion the UFC has in present day. I mean, come on. The UFC middleweight champ, #2 in the pound-for-pound rankings, and he openly loves anime. What's not to like about the guy? And his slick roasts.
Well, you know who I am now!
I can smell it's pheromones, you know, to start. I can smell it off him.
Oh, he has to wait till he fights a great wrestler. Oh, wait till he fights
I'm gonna leave you frozen like Elsa.
Thank you.
So I put the bounty on there, 3 million, for anyone who can ever even come forward and have concrete evidence against me for something like that.
Come on, Izzy.
Israel Mobalaji, Odunayo, Oluwafemi, Temetayo, Owolabi, the last stylebender Adesanya.
Adesanya.
Hey, my man.
Adesanya.
You don't know. Say it one more time for the people in the back.
Adesanya.
Yep, that's his real name. Yes, my pronunciation was perfect as I speak a little Yoruba here and there on the side. Gotta be some Nigerians that watch my videos, so how'd I do? Izzy was born July of 1989 and his family would end up in New Zealand when he was just 10 years of age. After moving to New Zealand, Izzy attended Rotorua Boys High School. There, he found interest in anime in the likes of Death Note and Naruto. Unfortunately, he was bullied in high school, but this would lead to him later pursuing martial arts. What is with all these MMA fighters having backgrounds where they were bullied? These bullies better watch out, man. They're training future cold-blooded killers. Izzy would begin training and competing in kickboxing at the age of 18. He'd become a dominant kickboxer, amassing a record of 75 wins and 5 losses. 2 of those losses coming from a certain Brazilian. More on that in the next video. Stylebender would transition to mixed martial arts in 2012 and make it to the UFC in 2018 after going 11-0.
Griffiths is a stand-up fighter, but he needs to take it to the ground. Oh,
Wow.
no. What was that?
There it is. There's his move. That's what he does to everybody.
So by the time he actually had his first UFC fight, Izzy was well experienced and 29 years old, which he has stated in the past that he wanted to be ready, which is honestly a good move. I hate when fighters rush up the rankings and then end up getting smoked by an experienced guy or just plain outmatched. Take for example Darren Till, Sage Northcutt, and Uriah Hall. The world of MMA is not like other sports. Just one loss and hype trains become derailed and all the momentum you had before is damn near wiped away. There are levels to this game. With new prospects such as Bo Nickel and the recent youngest UFC fighter ever, Raul Rosas Jr. at the age of 17, like goddamn, shouldn't you be playing video games or something, man? When I was that age, I was playing COD for like 12 hours of the day as soon as I got home from high school. I don't know how these kids are getting so good so damn fast these days. I just hope they face fair competition as they build up their resume and don't rush in such a deadly game. Back to Izzy, he had a monstrous start in the UFC, taking out the likes of Wilkinson, Vittori, Tavares, and Brunson. He even earned 3 Fight of the Nights in his first 4 fights. At this point, his name gained traction in the community, and it was time for a big name fight. And by big name fight, the UFC brought out a straight legend.
Anderson, the Spider Silva!
After the main event, UFC 234 between Whitaker and Gastelum fell apart at the last second, literally the last second. Rob pulled out a few hours before the card due to a hernia and a twisted and collapsed bowel. The dude had emergency surgery the same day. Silva and Adesanya moved up to take up the top spot, and man did they deliver. Not to be a weeb, but the fight was straight out of an anime. From here, enter Kelvin Gastelum. Izzy would have his toughest fight in the UFC for the interim middleweight belt. In a crazy back and forth, Kelvin and Izzy went to war. An early push from Gastelum in the beginning rounds and drop of Adesanya made it look like the hype train was coming to an end, but Izzy showed heart, and after finally a true badass moment, Izzy would rally through and damn near finish Gastelum in the final round. Izzy became the interim champion, who will go on to unify the belts after knocking out Robert Whittaker at UFC 243, but not before some cool dance moves, of course. From here, Izzy was a beast and took over the division and cleaned it out. Well, sort of. He started off with a dancing competition with Romero.
Wow. Look at Yoel, man. I'm telling you, like, what's he doing?
An assault of a drunk Paulo Costa.
He was deep shit. It definitely was, Joe.
A move up for double champ status that would end in a quick hug with Jan.
This guy is going to try to hunt Izzy down and corner him and land a bomb.
Intense fight with Marvin, who was doing Marvin things, and then 2 lackluster bouts with Whittaker and Cannonier.
That's my reality. Sending my intentions up to the universe.
Oh, almost forgot. Izzy grew a titty throughout all of this. Let me just pull out my PhD in medicine real quick.
Everybody's on steroids.
Clear case of unilateral gynecomastia. Also, the second Whittaker fight was fairly technical and not that bad as people make it out to be. But I mean, I can't blame the guy for being boring. His abilities lie in his counters. His fight game revolves around countering his opponent's attacks. Izzy keeps distance and uses his jab and kicks to keep range. So if the other fighter doesn't make it into a dogfight, they really have no shot at winning a decision.
Fantastic movement from Izzy.
Oh, so fun to watch.
Izzy can rack up points all day on the scorecards from distance. This has led to his recent fights being called boring, which is crazy considering the fact that the dude isn't a wrestler. He's literally called a boring striker. Normally, it's the other way around. For example, take GSP or Khabib. Their fights were always criticized as being boring, even if they ended in finishes. Also, a big part in Adesanya's criticism is he always hypes up the card. He goes on about how he's gonna bulldoze the guy. So when the fight just ends in a regular old decision, that's a big factor as to why fans are upset and critical of his performances. They're getting a sense of false advertisement basically. Both the recent knockout and dethroning of one of the 3 African kings, Usman, it's hard to argue the other way around. I think Whittaker said it well.
Sure, he's just paid to win, you know, and that's the most important thing. Whether it's boring or not, you can have the most exciting fight of the night. If you lose, no one's talking about you anymore. Winning is all that matters. If I could just take someone down and hold them down until someone took them home, I would. I will happily hug someone on the ground for 25 minutes if that gets me the W. Yeah, that's the sport we're in. And Izzy's a defensive striker. He always has been. And I think the fans don't really, appreciate how good at that he is.